to you all that are wearing your red hats and talk about how much America is the greatest country that ever lived. What part of America First is this? Hi, my name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Hill Harper told you what it was.
Oh, I saw that somewhere where they offered you, I didn't know how much it was, but you said $20 million to go against Rashida Tlaib or talk down on her? What was it?
No, to run against her. So the idea would be, I'm running for United States Senate.
Yep.
And I'm running against one of their candidates that they back. So AIPAC backs my opponent. Okay. So they would get a twofer. Rashida Tlaib is the public enemy number one for them.
Yep.
Right? They just got rid of Jamaal Bowman.
Yep.
Right? So but she's even more targeted.
And Cori Bush, they got a target on Cori Bush.
They're going after Cori Bush. And so the guy down in Missouri took the deal same deal I was offered. So Wesley Bell was running for US Senate down there in Missouri. Mm-hmm. He took the deal, left the Senate race and ran against Cori Bush.
He described Wesley Bell, congressional candidate in Missouri, opting to leave one race and enter another backed by pro-Israel super PAC AIPAC, or American Israel Public Affairs Committee, because they don't like Congresswoman Cori Bush's calls for justice and transparency in Gaza, and dropping an absolute bag to do it. Now, I don't know Wesley Bell, but based on what's come out, and I've heard since, like this denial that he wouldn't even run when the report previously came out.
There's some stuff that I know because I just from being in this game long enough. Their Holloman is a hack. He is a hack. And the proof of it is name one legitimate reporter that one he think even close to that. Like, this is stupid.
Exactly. No, you're right.
Don't even think for even a second that that's the case. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you on my word, he's not running into shit. That is not happening.
So Ren, this is audio of Bell telling Bush that Holloman was a quote hack.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one for me to ignore. As they say, the internet is forever, Wesley. But still, despite that, AIPAC's bag was enough and he emerged victorious. Just think about that. Despite there being smoke to emerge that an Israeli-backed super PAC was dumping money into a Missouri congressional race, they still won. And now you know why this trend continues, because it's proven to be quite effective. Even, mind you, when it's seen beforehand. And after losing her Democratic primary re-election bid, Cori Bush did not hold back in targeting those she blames for her defeat.
Pulling me away from my position as Congresswoman. All you did was take some of the strings off. But all they did was radicalize me, and so now they be afraid. I don't think that there is nothing that happens in my life that happens in vain. So if this happened, it's because it was meant to happen. And let me say, it's because of the work that I need to do.
Man, I ain't seen nothing like that since Tory Lane's father after Tory got convicted in Megan Thee Stallion shooting.
In the LAPD's office, tell me how there's no fingerprints. My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today. That Rock Nation, you will crumble. I am an apostle of God, and you will know who I am.
Now, hopefully, Cori Bush's revenge fares better because Rock Nation ain't crumbled. Freedom, I can't lose. Freedom. But this is real. And we've seen it before, just recently, in fact. Bush's defeat came shortly after the same super PAC undefeated Congressman Jamaal Bowman in New York.
We are going to show fucking AIPAC the power of the motherfucking South Bronx. People ask me why I got 1,000 coming after me. You coming after my family. You coming after my children. I'm not supposed to fight back. I'm not supposed to fight back. We're gonna show them who the f we are.
Yeah, we got a better video of him. Like, you got one where he got a collared shirt? No, because it looked like he running for the mayor of Cell Block D. Bowman v. Latimer marked the most costly primary of 2024, making 2 victories over left-wing squad members amid the contentious Gaza conflict. Patrick Dorton, a spokesperson for the United Democracy Project, the super PAC behind the efforts, commented, "Being anti-Israel is bad politics. Bush's race shows, just like Bowman too, that when you get disconnected from your district and adopt a fringe anti-Israel out of the mainstream agenda, you lose support." Now, both Bush and Bowman were vocal critics of Israel's actions in Gaza, with Bush among the first to call for a ceasefire and urge the U.S. to end its support for Israeli military policies. Now, let's go back to that quote again. He talked about being disconnected from your district. I'm wondering, what part of your stance on Gaza makes you disconnected from your district? And why would that be something that's a fatal flaw in Missouri? Also, the fact that he framed both Bowman and Cori Bush as being anti-Israel. I want to repeat what I said about Bush being among the first to call for a ceasefire and urge the U.S. to end its support for Israeli military policies. So I guess not actively supporting them and giving them a blank check and having nothing to do with how they use said money makes you anti that person. I told you, I'm anti a whole lot of people, apparently. Pretty much everybody but my kids. Now, AIPAC did try and cover their tracks, criticizing both Bush and Bowman for their stances on Israel, but most of its ads focused on other issues like their votes against President Biden's 2021 infrastructure bill. AIPAC's Super PAC spent $8.6 million in the Wesley Bell, Cori Bush fiasco, mainly targeting her record on infrastructure. Bell's campaign didn't heavily focus on Israel, but emphasized local issues and his progressive credentials. Now, while both Bowman and Bush were critics of Israel, their primaries had distinct elements, like, for instance, abortion was a significant issue in Missouri, with Bush highlighting her personal experience while Bell underscored his stance against prosecuting abortion cases. Now, here's the thing. It is predictable and quite seasoned of them to not focus specifically on Israel, but attack them in other ways. But you can't have it both ways. If you are the American-Israeli relations super PAC, then why does their stance on Biden's 2021 infrastructure bill interest you? You can't have it both ways. If you want to attack them for other reasons, then you are clearly operating out of the bounds of the American-Israeli relations super PAC. However, if you want to stick specifically until your issues at hand, I'm wondering why you're dumping money into these congressional races in Missouri and New York. Now, as the primary season nears its end, the United Democracy Project hasn't specified future plans, but affirmed its commitment to supporting leaders who bolster the U.S.-Israel alliance while opposing critics within both parties. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is the next squad member facing a primary challenge, but United Democracy Project hasn't engaged in her race. Despite this, her opponent Don Samuels believes national groups are missing an opportunity to challenge Omar. Even still, some liberal groups are increasingly critical of AIPAC. Justice Democrats Executive Director Alexandra Rojas compared AIPAC to the National Rifle Association, suggesting it might become a pariah within the Democratic Party due to its extreme support for right-wing positions. And hold that thought. House Democratic leaders, including Minority Whip Catherine Clark, supported both incumbents, but the White House refrained from commenting on AIPAC's involvement, but criticized Bush's rhetoric for being inflammatory and divisive. You know, like a ceasefire. In addition to the Democratic primaries, United Democracy Project has also succeeded in Republican contests, with their biggest victory perhaps coming at the RNC convention.
Let me hear you cheer if you support Israel.
Let me hear you cheer if you support Israel. Now, if someone tried that at the Democrats' convention, they'd be booed off the stage. But here, at the Republican convention, we proudly and loudly stand with Israel.
Do you remember that whole thing about the quote that came from the super PAC saying when you adopt fringe positions that disconnect you from your district, it becomes a problem when it comes time to get reelected? That's actually kind of funny, because in just selecting her VP, Kamala Harris had to be conscious of a significant faction of the left wing in favor of a ceasefire and currently uncommitted in this upcoming presidential election. That doesn't sound very disconnected as far as I'm concerned. Now, this presents a number of issues, but let's get to the first one. What is one of the first issues that people say they have with politicians? They're bought and sold, they're compromised. Well, what happens when you have a super PAC that dumps a ton of money to get you elected based specifically on one issue? You literally enter the halls. You walk in on day one compromised. Like, I don't know why they would wear anything other than an AIPAC t-shirt with Latimer and Bell, because we can't see them or receive them in any other way. And the ironic thing is AIPAC is actually not the problem here. It's Citizens United. AIPAC is not breaking the rules. They're working within the rules that we have allowed, where these super PACs are able to pool their money and specifically target politicians. And that's how we have all this money flooding into politics. And we wonder why we can't get anything done on guns. And we can't wonder why we can't get anything done on Israel. We wonder why we can't get anything done on this issue or that issue. Citizens United. That is exactly why. Now, I also would like to take a little detour over to MAGA. I don't necessarily subscribe to the ultra nationalist, America first, America next, America last, America everything. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. But to you all that are wearing your red hats and talk about how much America is the greatest country that ever lived, and talk about how we need to build back business here and how we need to stop getting ourselves involved in foreign affairs. This isn't a problem for y'all? This isn't a problem for y'all. I'm just curious. I'm wondering what part of America first is this? What part of America first is this? Now, granted, this isn't your first hypocrisy, right? This isn't your first time at the hypocrisy ball. There's the fact that you say that you back the blue, and apparently that's a 34-time felon. There's the fact that the whole Christian nationalist movement has decided to position themselves behind a man with 26 credible allegations, and who we know paid off a porn star when he was cheating with his wife, who was pregnant at the time. And then there is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend saying that liberal women were ugly.
Liberal women tend to be some of the ugliest women I've ever seen.
There's a whole lot of hypocrisy. I know at this point you're pretty comfortable contradicting yourselves, but this one is particularly bad, which brings me to problem number 2.
Your actions prove that you have a lot of talk, but not a lot of results.
You're the number one recipient of AIPAC money in the country.
And why do you think
AIPAC is funded by right-wing Republicans who want to destroy our democracy.
AIPAC is funded...
Right-wing Republicans like Paul Singer and Bernie Marcus, who are attacking abortion rights across the country.
Here's a list of the top donors to AIPAC from January 1st, 2023 through January 23rd, 2024. The largest donor has been Jan Koum, the billionaire founder of WhatsApp, and the largest donor to the pro-Nikki Haley super PAC SFA fund. Another large donor, David Zolak, has also been a Haley supporter. He donated more than $80,000 to Haley's campaign, super PAC, and joint fundraising committee last year, according to FEC records. He's also donated this year to the campaigns of Texas Republicans Mike McCall and Senator Ted Cruz. I'm sensing a theme here. You know, as long as Citizens United is in place, there is nothing to stop right-wing money from flooding in and influencing left-wing races. which gives you an elephant walking the halls of Congress in donkey clothing. And that's why I'm troubled. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.